Hey guys, it's Chris from Steeda, and today we're going to show you how to bleed some brakes on this 2015 Q350 EcoBoost. We use this car for all kinds of parts testing, whether it's on the autocross track or out on the road course. It sees tons of track time, which means we're bleeding the brakes a lot. So naturally, we wanted to put together a video for you to show you step by step on how to bleed the brakes. So without further ado, let's get to it. So in terms of the brake bleeding process, it really isn't that big of a deal. All you need is a set of wrenches and a bottle, as well as a tube, and a buddy to hop in the driver's seat and pump the brakes when you instruct them to. It's a pretty easy process, so we're going to get to the shop and show you how to do it. So looking under the hood, in the driver's side towards the front, you'll see the brake booster as well as the brake reservoir. That's where you would go ahead and fill up your brake fluid, make sure it's topped off as you're bleeding the brakes. You want to start the farthest from this ABS reservoir, so meaning that you would start in the right rear, and then you would move over to the left rear, and ultimately the right front, and last the left front. So kicking things off in the right rear, we have Jamie here with a bottle and a tube. The tube is hooked up to the fitting on the back of the caliper, and you have a wrench there, and that is what you use to loosen up the fitting on the back of the brake caliper to let the brake fluid out. So ultimately what you're going to have is a buddy inside the car. He's going to be pumping the brakes. Typically it's 1, 2, 3 and hold, and you'll have him verbally say 1, 2, 3 and hold, and then you'll have your wrench to loosen up that fitting and let the brake fluid out. If you add something like stainless steel lines or anything that could really introduce air into the system, you'll actually see bubbles come out of the caliper itself. And thinking about fluid dynamics, you want to get the farthest away from that brake fluid reservoir and then ultimately the closest. So you'll want to do this a couple times for each caliper. Ultimately, you want to go around the car once, maybe twice, depending if you the brake pedal feel at the end. Now remember, you want to keep the brake fluid reservoir filled, so periodically check it as you continue to go around the car. After you've moved from the right rear to the left rear, you're ultimately going to move up to the right front. And what you're going to do is work from the inside of the caliper out. You'll go ahead and do the inside fitting and then the outside fitting. And again, pump, pump, hold. And then that's when you will loosen up that fitting to let the brake fluid out, and then do it again, make sure everything's good, and at that point you're ready to move to the outside fitting. And once you're done with that, you move over to the other side in the front, which is closest to that reservoir, and ultimately you should be good to go. If you don't like the feel of that brake pedal, that's fine, just go ahead and go around again. Start at the right rear and eventually move your way to the left front. So that about wraps things up when it comes to bleeding the brakes on your S550 Mustang. As you know, it's super important to bleed your brakes, either if it's a street car to follow the manufacturer's guidelines, or if it's a track car to periodically bleed the brakes to make sure you don't have any water or air in the system. Now I will say we complement these Brembo brakes that we added to this EcoBoost Mustang with the two-piece Steeda rotors, as well as the Hawk Performance DTC 70 pads up front and DTC 30s in the rear. It's awesome on track, awesome on the autocross course. Again, we really don't recommend those super high temperature track pads for the street, but man, do they perform on the track. So go ahead and comment below. Is this a project you would tackle yourself? What else do you want to see us do with these S550 Mustangs or any other Ford for that matter? Go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button, that notification bell so you get the notification on your phone next time a Steeda video drops. And don't forget the most important thing, speed matters.